Should there be a rule against runners in boxing? Should there be a rule that penalizes boxers for not engaging in fights? What if I told you that there was already rules in place for that very reason? And I'm going to let you know, and I'm only going to show you some hard evidence that there already is, but I'm going to also tell you something about one of the government bodies. I got to contact a source that allegedly, I have to say allegedly, told me some things that are interesting. But anyway, and I'm gonna show you. And I'm gonna show you real quick, basically what started all of this conversation. In a sense, what showbiz the other. I'm gonna give you a quick rundown video about that in a minute. But first, if you're new here, thank you for choosing this video, and please consider subscribing and sharing this video. And if you're a subscriber already tuning back in, thank you for returning. Also, please consider sharing and liking this video. It helps a whole lot with the algorithm. God knows that they shadow ban me all the time. Don't know for what. But anyway, let's get to it. So I'm going to play a real quick video with Showbiz. I thought I kind of cut it down and condensed it, give you the gist of what's happening. If you haven't already seen this video, I'm sure you have. If you're here, you've probably seen him already. Talking about his video, in his video about him tagging Turki Al-Sheikh, proposing his version of a rule similar to the clinching rule. You know, that you get some warnings, hard warnings, and you get point deduction for not engaging. For not just for like boxing and being cute, like kind of like an effective like a Ray Leonard or a Muhammad Ali, but more so like what we saw with Skull and Haney this past 3 weeks ago now. So I'm gonna play this video real quick for you, just to catch you back up what Showbiz had said and what he had proposed, and we're gonna come right back. And please come back because I'm gonna give you hard proof and receipts about this rule already being on the books. So here's Showbiz, and we'll come right back.
Let's talk about the no running rule, right? Now, I introduced this to my socials, to X, to Instagram, to YouTube here, the War Room. All of you guys, many of you voted. I have thousands of votes across all platforms. Most of you in approval of this rule. Last weekend was arguably the worst weekend of boxing, all right, ever. And it's mostly due to the expectations. You have Canelo Alvarez, you have Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney. You have some of the biggest names, Teofimo Lopez, all in one weekend. And the weekend ended up being a huge disappointment. Of running and boring was Shakur Stevenson's performance against De Los Santos, where a total of 105 punches were landed in that fight, making that fight a snooze fest. Devin Haney versus Ramirez, a total of 110 punches were landed that fight. That's only 5 punches more than the snooze fest of Shakur Stevenson versus De Los Santos. And Canelo Alvarez versus William Skull, only 1 punch more than the Haney fight, which was 111 total punches landed by Canelo Alvarez and William Skull in their fight. All right. So,
all right, now that you've seen those Showbiz, section out, that's a lot longer. So you should go see his video. And because he really goes into depth of what he explains and why he's doing what he's doing and what he's proposing. But what if I told you already that there are these rules in place? And I'm going to give you 2 examples that I could actually find publicly. And then I'm going to tell you something allegedly that a source told me that I believe very much about that rule with one of the governing bodies at the very least. So anyway, here's the first piece of evidence that I'm going to show you. This is from the Missouri State Commission, Athletic Commission. And as you can already see in that in that bylaw right there, that and I'm gonna show you the receipt. I'm gonna show you the first page. So I'm gonna bring it up real quick here. Okay, so in the first page you see the Department of Commerce and Insurance Division 2040 Office of Athletics Chapter 5 rules for the professional boxing, professional wrestling, professional and amateur kickboxing, and professional full contact karate. Now, we're going to go to provision number 4, page 4, provision 20 CSR 2040 5.040. That's ours. That's what we got to take a look at because that's the most important one for the Missouri. That's what pertains to boxing, right? So they have kind of like a whole catch-all, bylaw that encompasses all the contact sports that they take place in. Now, here is the actual excerpt of that bylaw, right? So Division 2040, Office of Athletics, Section 14 and 15 is what we want to pay attention to. A contestant who intentionally refuses to engage an opponent for a prolonged period of time may receive an immediate warning from the referee. If the contestant continues these tactics after a warning, a point will be deducted by the referee. 15. The referee shall stop the bout for any of the following: The referee determines that one of the contestants is clearly less experienced and or skilled than his or her opponent to the extent of allowing the bout to continue would pose a substantial risk to the serious harm or less than an experienced contestant. Referee decides a contestant is not making his or her best effort and see for any other reason the referee deems sufficient. So right there in Missouri, you have on the books a law, a rule that governs the boxing side that says if you are not making your best effort to make a fight out of it, you're going to get warnings and then you're going to get a point deduction eventually. That means, like, hey, fighters, like I said before, like, for instance, if that would have been William Skull this weekend in Missouri, possibly you could have had a ref go in and say, hey, you need to engage, bro, because, you know, this is crazy. Like, we're here to have a fight, and you're, like, pretty much running, jabbing once every 45 seconds. That's not willing to engage. You're not even doing anything to make it look like you're even winning. You're just kind of, like, cutesily running around the ring, right? So that's one. But I have a bigger one than that. I have a bigger one, right? I have what could possibly be really the mother of all of them, really, right? So this one here that I'm going to show you, and I'm looking down. As I'm looking down, it's because I'm opening this up on a computer so I can read them to you, and I'm going to put them up here on the screen again like I did before. So this is the Nevada Athletic Commission, right? And this one is 467.675X constituting fouls in boxing. This is NRS 467.030. The following acts constitutes fouls in boxing in Nevada. Now, if you scroll down, you got 32 bylaws there. Now you go to number 30, timidity, including, without limitation, avoiding contact with an opponent, faking an injury, or intentionally or consistently dropping the mouthpiece. All of those are meant to not make contact. Timidity means you're being timid, you're being afraid, you're being cautious, you're running around the ring, you're trying not to make contact. That's what timidity is, right? And I mean, it says it right there, avoiding contact with the opponent. That was what Devin Haney was doing. That was William Skull was doing. That's what Rigondeaux did for most of his career. Made boring hella fights. Like, so, Shakur Stevenson has the least outputted punch stat fight of all time. Behind him is Devin Haney. Behind that is William Skull and Canelo. And those two fights happened on the same weekend. So if that would have been in Nevada, the referee would have been within his power or her power to institute warnings and then point deductions due to timidity, including, without limitation, avoiding contact with an opponent. We have two set presidents, one in a major and one in a minor commission, right? Now, if you start looking at the WBA, WBC, IBF, and WBO, all their bylaws and regulations are really similar to each other. For a fact, I was told, I guess that doesn't really go together, allegedly that the WBA, New York State Athletic Commission, also adopted a lot of the WBA's rules, almost verbatim, right? Why is that important? I'm telling you this. So I got a tip from someone, a source, that got some information from me about the WBA and about this very rule, okay? So here's what they have. They told me, well, if you want to get the WBA side and any other commission side, you should, or governing body side, you should contact them directly. But we did a little digging. And I can't show you this because it's alleged, and I can't, it'd be defamation if it's not true, but I'm pretty sure it is. I'm pretty convinced for what I'm seeing. So, I was provided information that the WBA's rules are adopted verbatim by commissions. An example, Panama, where the WBA is headquartered, right? They're out of Panama. So, what does that mean? So, verbatim, they are, some commissions have adopted this. New York, remember I said New York State Athletic, and I think the Nevada Athletic Commission as well. Example, Panama's commissions, post WBA rules, reglamentos in Spanish. We couldn't get those. They don't exist anymore on their website. That's actually been taken off, and I found out why. But when we pressed the issue and we dug a little deeper, allegedly we uncovered an email from 2022 that said Section 18G. This is what it actually cited. Lack of combativeness. If a boxer demonstrates no intention to engage, excessively retreats without countering, or refuses to compete, the referee shall issue a formal warning, deduct points, or disqualify if the behavior continues. Okay? All right. So now I'm like, well, okay. Well, why? Why is that? Well, here's what they told me. Allegedly, why we can't find that online. The WBA intentionally omits this rule from public PDFs to avoid controversy. Referees are given oral instructions in pre-fight meetings. Okay? The rule exists, but it is hidden, allegedly. So what we got was, when we dug a little deeper, right? Because you can keep digging. The Wayback Machine is something crazy. Google that if you want. We reference 2 non-public WBA documents obtained through a 2023 email exchange between a boxer manager and the WBA's legal team. The subject of that email was clarification of penalties for passivity, meaning passiveness, unwillingness to engage. Where the WBA provided an excerpt of, again, Section 18G, allegedly, a Panama Athletic Commission AMP filing in 2022, which adopted WBA's rules verbatim, but is only accessible in Spanish. Again, so basically there seemed to be an issue with a promoter in a fight, and they needed clarity on the rule. And verbatim, it cited that section again. Okay? I was told allegedly the WBA's public-facing documents are marketing-friendly summaries. The full Reglamento de Campeonatos Mundiales, which translates into World Championship Regulations, is treated as an internal document shared only with licensed promoters and commissions. But they told me, you need to contact the WBA legal, which I got the email for. And per WBA regulation, 18G, and ask them, please confirm the exact wording of penalties for lack of combativeness in championship fights, where it is published for public review. They told me they usually reply within 3 days. They provided a snippet of the email and what it looked like when they asked for that, clarification. I'm not surprised that these things happen, that things are being withheld from the public, allegedly by the WBA. And the WBC, WBO, WBA, and the IBF all share very similar rules, including the IBO. So if the WBA allegedly has these hidden policies, it's safe to say that not only maybe commissions do the same, but the other governing bodies may do as well. And as though alleged, I don't know for sure because I haven't seen those. But it goes to show you that it's not a rule that we need to make, it's already there. We just need to call for enforcement. We do it with clinching. We can do it with this also. It just makes sense. We don't want to see another Regan Diao, another Devin Haney performance like that, and we also don't want to see William Skull do that again. And William Skull doesn't generally fight like that. He fought that way that night mostly. He does move, but he doesn't move like that on purpose all the time. Matter of fact, in the fight that he won the championship, he fought the guy. To me, he lost that fight hands down, but he fought him. He just didn't want to engage with Canelo because he didn't want to get knocked out. He didn't want to get posterized. So, again, these are really the receipts. It's already there. There's no need for really showbiz to call for a new rule when the rule already exists. It just needs to be enforced, and I'm pretty sure there's for sure all the other commissions and governing bodies have one piece of line there that says unsportsmanlike conduct, which is kind of like whatever you may find as unsportsmanlike, like running away from a fighter. So that's like a blanket, kind of like disorderly conduct. When you get arrested for disorderly conduct, that can cover many different things. That's the same thing with unsportsmanlike conduct. It can cover many different things, from clinching to headbutting to, cursing to spitting to running away because you're not being a sportsman, right? So anyway, that's what I got. What do you think? Do you think that, they should push the issue to enforce the rules? Or you think in a new league that Turki Al-Sheikh is forming, he should really enforce, implement this rule officially and to the public? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next video. And I'm out. Peace.